It can feel like there's a loop in your chest, a quiet reel that plays over and over. Words that were meant to be said stay tucked in, unfinished, hovering just out of reach. You may notice the subtle ache that comes from holding them in, the way your thoughts drift to what could have been, not in anger, but in longing. There's a sense that you carry something delicate and important, a truth you wanted to offer, a feeling you wanted to share. It can feel both heavy and tender at the same time, this quiet repetition of unsaid words. You may catch yourself rehearsing phrases in your mind, softly, almost quietly, as if practicing them for a moment that never comes. It doesn't make you overthinking. It makes you aware, attuned to the parts of your heart that still seek connection, even if it's only imagined. You may find that these words surface unexpectedly, when a song plays, or in the pause of a conversation, or in a quiet moment that feels ordinary and yet profound. And each time, it can feel like they are just as alive as when they first formed, ready to be felt again. There can be a tension between the desire to let go and the pull to hold on. You may recognize that nothing will change the past, yet the feelings keep replaying, softly persistent. One part of you knows the words will never land, while another part wonders if you could have done it differently. That contradiction can exist without resolution. You may notice how your mind fills in details, rewrites endings, imagines conversations that never occurred. There's a sense of gentle insistence in your memory, a quiet echo that refuses to be ignored. It makes sense that you carry it so carefully, because it mattered then, and it still matters now. You're not wrong for feeling this. Your heart remembers in ways your mind cannot fully explain. Sometimes, the heart's memory feels louder than any logic, and it can feel confusing that something so silent can take up so much space. There's a quiet persistence to it, a gentle tug that you can't quite let go of, and it's allowed to be both present and ungraspable at the same time. A quieter layer may emerge, the questioning of yourself. Did you wait too long? Was there a signal you misread? You might wonder if you asked too much, or if you could have expressed yourself better. These thoughts come softly, without blame, almost like whispers in a familiar room. It can feel like a tender self-examination, one that is patient and unhurried, without demanding clarity or judgment. There's a strange comfort in noticing how your heart has held on to these words, how it continues to care quietly, even in the absence of response. It can feel like witnessing your own sensitivity, and it's allowed to be both fragile and persistent at the same time. You may even notice how this pattern appears in other parts of your life, how your heart remembers differently than your mind wants it to. And there's a gentle realization that sometimes being sensitive isn't a burden, but simply the way you experience deeply. The unsaid words create a space that is unclaimed, lingering, a quiet non-resolution. You may notice the tension between wanting to release them and the recognition that they are part of your inner life now. They don't need closure, and you don't need to fix them. There's a permission in simply acknowledging their presence, letting them exist without requiring understanding or action. The feelings are valid because they existed, because they mattered, and because you held them fully, even when no one else did. It can feel like standing in a room with these words softly echoing, not demanding, simply being there with you. Sometimes that echo is gentle enough to allow you to breathe more fully. And in that breathing, you might find the smallest moments of relief, small breaths that carry the quiet tenderness of what you never got to say. Finally, there can be a resting place within this ongoing reverberation. The words you never spoke are part of your story, quietly settled alongside you, without urgency or expectation. It's allowed to simply notice them, to feel their weight and their tenderness, and to sit with them in quiet companionship. You may sense a softness in the awareness, a subtle peace that arises from being present with your own experience. And in this presence, there is no rush, no conclusion, just a gentle acknowledgement that what was never said still matters, still exists, and still holds its quiet space beside you. Even if they never landed, even if they were never heard, you can let yourself feel them fully. In that feeling, in that noticing, there is a small, tender release, a moment where you simply exist with your heart, carrying it without needing anything more. It can feel like a gentle unfolding of yourself, in the quiet, with the unsaid still alive, still present, still yours.